Are you ready for this? Check this out. Oh, I forgot the blaze. The blaze don't fall. Ow. I'm on fire. That didn't feel very good. Stop it! What's up, people? I'm Xogue, back on All the Mods 3. And if we scroll up a little bit more over there to the left, you'll kind of see a little bit of a thingy thing. And then if I go back down and do this, you're going to see these thingy things. Now, thingy things have been happening, okay? I wanted to point something out, all right? We have what is that? Seven wind generators, quite a bit of thermoelectric generators, 3 sets, so 9 water wheels, and 3 solar panels, granted tier 1, but still solar panels, and 1 slightly upgraded solar panel, and you have 2 solar panels from a different mod, which I forgot about, which are also up here. And we're still not even generating power fast with everything we're using right now. Like, power is such a huge thing in this pack. Like, holy crap, it is so hard to generate power here. It is unbelievable, but it's one heck of a challenge, guys, but it's actually kind of fun. I hate to say it, I really do, because I don't like when people make things harder. I mean, that sounds bad and kind of makes me sound a little spoiled, doesn't it? But it's still, I don't know, it's kind of interesting. I mean, I have to come up with creative ways to generate huge amounts of power, and I know I've made quite a bit of progress off camera, and part of me is sorry for that, part of me isn't, because I kind of needed to. I mean, this stuff is not all that difficult to get. It's not really hard to do. I like this design, by the way. I kind of shoved them in the wall. I don't know if that's something survivors could do, but maybe. Give them a couple sledgehammers. They can break apart some rock, right? And shovels, they can dig dirt. Sure, why not? But what we have here, basically 3 void ore miners with the power setup. Now, the reason I went ahead and made 3 of these guys is because I wanted to be able to AFK and get a crap ton of supplies like you see we have. So I need to get a lot further in this mod right here in order to actually reliably get enough ore and resources for the other mods that we need / want to get into. Which is kind of one of those things. So I did go ahead and do this. I mean, this is just a lot of resource creation. I mean, you have the structure blocks, right? If we take a look at some of the structure blocks, these are just the structure tier frame. Like the litherite is craftable with some dye. I just went and got some of my flowers, ground them down into power to make these guys. You know, that's simple. These guys are an upgraded version of these. Okay, these are a little bit different. If we take a look, this is the 2nd tier. And you need 1 of the other ones, plus 2 more of those, and 3 erodium. Now, erodium is the special thing. This is what we can only get. You can only get this from the tier 1 void ore mine. Or you can only get it from ore miners. It's a super high-powered mod, but it takes it's a lot of time. It's a huge amount of time to get through it and actually do what you got to do. So we're working our way through that. The water wheels, I did not explain the water wheels too much. Water wheel. These guys right here, the water wheels are just water wheel segments, okay, and steel. Steel, you already know I can get. These guys are treated wood. Now, treated wood, as soon as it lets me do what I got to do, is creosote and planks. It's not a hard thing. But the creosote oil usually requires the coke oven. However, I did something a little bit different, okay? I went the route of the redstone furnace with the pyrolytic conversion upgrade on it, which took a little bit of work. But we're getting creosote oil from it, so that's pretty cool. It's a nice little thing. Moving on, move on, Xogue. You've explained everything. So what I want to do today is I want to get into the mystical agriculture mod. Now, this is a mod that is pretty friggin' crazy. This is another big one. It requires a bunch of the inferium essence, which we kind of actually have a bunch of. We even have some more over here from all our chicken stuffs. Like, there's almost 2 stacks over here, which is really cool. But we use this to make seeds. We use a lot of other things like our prosperity shards to make seeds, grow those seeds in order to get resources. But problem is, we need a place to put it all. And that island over there, which It's probably about the size island we would need to actually do every crop like I want to. That's already taken. But I think right now what we're going to do is use this little area, okay? From here all the way over to here. And I've already cleared these buildings. They don't have my little marker on them because I figured we're going to end up tearing the buildings down anyway. But they are, in fact, cleared. I did clear them a little earlier today. I think we're going to knock this guy down as well. And we're going to terraform across this gap. Which means over here, like along this side, is going to end up coming right alongside our island here. And we're going to have another entrance into it, another way to do it. And it might be almost time for us to tear down our perfectly sculpted little area here that totally does not fit in with the theme at all. Well, building number 1 has been torn down. And it's come to my attention we have a problem. Other than, spawners. Other than those spawners, to be more specific. We have another issue, okay? I don't think I've shown you this yet. But our wall of spawners has gotten pretty big. And we have guardian spawners down here. We have an elder guardian. I think I put him there. We have blaze spawners down buried there. We need a better place to put our spawners. We just need, I kind of want them organized too, if I'm being honest. Like, it doesn't have to be completely organized with labels and everything. I just want them a little bit separated. Also, you remember in the beginning of the series when I said these guys were really expensive? They're really not expensive anymore. I don't really have the leather, but I've been using that for yogurt. I've been duplicating yogurt with leather. Yes, that is a real thing. So that took quite a bit of work. We have terraformed this entire chunk. Well, how many chunks is this? We can actually count them. Because we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 chunks. 19 if you count that one. 20 if you count our little place, but we're probably not going to use those two. We're going to blur the lines, just make this one big grass patch. Maybe even this too, after we move our stuff out of the way. But this whole area, this 18 chunk, I guess that means it's, 6 by 3? Is that 6? It feels like more than 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, no, 6. All right, nope, my math is, at this point, okay, it's not terrible. Basically, it's going to be the crop building, right? This is the building, the gigantic building that our survivors are repurposing for their crops, which means we either need one of two things, or one or both of two things. We need sky access, so lots of sunlight. We also would like rain because we don't necessarily have like sprinkler systems or anything, so we might need to leave the top open. And I'm not sure if I'm going to do that or if I'm going to do like a greenhouse type deal and see if I can find a way to combine a lot of the different glass panes that we found in a lot of the buildings, even all the different colors, and try to combine them together to make it look like the survivors just found their glass and somehow put it together to create some kind of a weird looking greenhouse effect. And that way their crops would grow faster. And I'm not sure which one I want to go for, or maybe we'll do both or something. But if we do the greenhouse, we need to find a way to explain how they can water their crops without having to walk around this whole place. It needs to be some kind of an automated method. And I think it's okay. I mean, you got to think about it. We might be doing a zombie apocalypse, survivalist type deal, but I mean, we do have machines. And in a true apocalyptic world, they would have to scavenge these, but even then, they wouldn't work at peak efficiency. And we're not going to sacrifice that ability. We're going to have all the augments we can have in order to, get done what we need to get done. I'm not going to sacrifice machine efficiency just for the theme of the builds. So we're going to have to let a little bit go in the theme area just to make things more efficient, just to make them look better and react better. So I'm okay with that little bit there. I mean, come on now. They're not going to have gigantic solar panels that are going to be able to power machines that can bore through the nothingness to create supplies out of thin air. Let there be grass. And so there was. So we have a giant plot here. I wanted to show you something else. I think this is something I actually had done in the last clip as well, but I didn't show it to you because I was too busy explaining other stuff. But if we take a look over here, just really quick, we actually have two of these guys now. The reason we have two of them is because we now have link ID 1 and link ID 3. 2 was just something else. It was when I was doing the testing or stuff, and it kind of bypassed. But it's basically the only two channels we have is link ID 1 and link ID 2. We have two different networks technically. Now the reason we did that, the reason I did that, is because we needed a battery backup, and we needed a big one. And I know it's just a few blocks here right now, but this is kind of a big one, really, because these are the max level capacitor banks. These are 25 million a piece. So we have 75 million RF that we can possibly store in here. And this is why we have two networks. Basically, the way a battery backup needs to work is that you have all of your power generating things pumping into it, and then everything that's using energy pulling from it. And what that does is basically it creates this as a bottleneck. So if your things that are using RF aren't using all of it, then the power is going to build up in whatever, in this case, in our power cells. And after that's full, it's going to back up into this. And as you can see there, we are actually gaining power. We're gaining 805 a tick. And then it'll back up over to here once this is full, and it'll just kind of be that kind of a thing. And that's just kind of how they generally work, how they need to work. I need to start building the building. And like I said, I don't know exactly what I want it to look like. And this is one of those problems. You're not exactly sure what it should look like. So I'm going to take some measurements. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the plot in the middle. And the one in the middle is going to be our traditional crops. Those are going to be the things like all of our things here for our chicken curry that we need. It's going to be our netherwort. It's going to be our wheat. For whatever reason, we need some of those seeds sometimes for taming animals or breeding them or whatever. Maybe we'll throw some carrots and potatoes in there just for, kicks. But that's going to be for that center plot. I'm not sure how big we're going to make it, but it'll be big enough. And I think what else I'm going to do, the worms. There are worms in this. We do have those. I think that's an actually additions thing. That the worms themselves, in this pack, they actually expire. They die, which makes sense, I guess. But I do know that that is a configuration option, and we're probably going to end up turning that off. I don't think, logically, it makes sense that worms would die. But they die really fast. Pretty sure worms would last a long time. Not to mention, there's no such thing as actual worms in real life that crawl around in a little square, hydrating and making your plants grow faster. So, I mean, it's Minecraft, people. We're going to make our worms last forever. Alright, so we've made a bit of progress. I don't know if I would call this a lot of progress. It took a little bit of work to actually get this kind of a design down. But I just kind of let it evolve. And now the building, I'm not sure if I'm going to make it look like it was a building, or maybe it was some kind of like outdoor park, or I don't know, some other kind of thing. I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to let it morph some more, but I think we're actually done for now. Now hear me out on this for a second before you say, oh, but it's not done yet. I know it's not done yet. This is an unfinished project, and it's going to stay unfinished because, like I said, we have a lot of seeds. That said, I have a lot of plots in here, and I think what we're going to end up doing, I want to have some of these sections be designated for certain things. If this was a natural structure in the world before the apocalypse, and they repurpose it, then these kinds of designs, these kinds of things are going to be what people would use, I would think, for separation. You know, they're not going to make their own separation. They're not going to build things to have things be separated on their own. They're going to use what already exists to keep things separated in order to keep things organized. Because organization is still important, but you may not have the time in a post-apocalyptic world to actually focus on building things that would help you organize. You're instead going to rely on what is already there. And that's just kind of, I guess, where my mind kind of jumps to. So I think we're going to have these sections are going to be different things. And maybe the middle is what's actually going to be a lot of the seeds. And if we need extra room, then we can take like maybe a second door, a second floor on this thing or something. But I think for now we're going to keep it as it is and just see how far we can take it before we decide whether or not we're going to have a second floor. And if we don't need the second floor, then we can cover this middle part with glass and maybe even mix up the colors of glass with all the white, the clear, the blue that we've found in the world so far, and try to make it look a little bit like the survivors put the glass in to try to create some kind of a greenhouse effect, which wouldn't be complete, but if we did the glass for the walls and right here, it would create a little bit of one, even though up here, well, I guess we could put the glass in here as well. I don't know, that'd be a lot of glass for them to actually assemble by themselves, but you get the idea. We'll just kind of play with it and let things morph as they go. But for now, we're going to get started with the actual mystical agriculture stuff. And I might decorate this a little bit as time goes just to make it look more old, because obviously we've got to do some work in order to make it look like a rundown building. So we'll tear out like a corner, maybe a pillar or something, and maybe we'll stack up some debris. Like, say, if this pillar was broken out, then this would be sagging down. There would be a lot of weight put on this corner. So maybe the survivors stacked up a bunch of debris in this corner to prop this up so it didn't actually fall. You know, just kind of little details like that, I think, are going to really bring the build together. I think what we got to do first is get some inferium seeds. Although not the tier 6 ones. We're going to end up getting the tier 1 inferium seeds. And that way we get the inferium, because even though we have a bunch of inferium as it is, we don't have enough. And just to kind of bring your attention to it, if we take a look, we have 377 inferium. We can't. Let's just take a look at supremium, okay? 1 supremium takes 4 of the blue, right? So there's 4. So 4 times 4 is 16. Times 4 is 64. Times 4 is 4 stacks, times 4 again, okay, is 16 stacks to make 1 supremium essence, if I did my math right. If I didn't do my math right, it's pretty close to that anyway. I think it might actually be 4 stacks for 1 supremium essence. I think I might have done, I don't know, something like that. But you get the idea. This one, that one. Oh, I didn't do the little decoration in here. And then these two, after I put the decoration in, will be all inferium essence, you know, and then we'll try to organize things out. You get what I'm trying to say. Remember how I said that the first essence, the inferium essence right here, how it was going to go quick? I was not lying. Look, okay, so this is as far as we got with the seeds. Like, really not a whole lot, and we wanted a whole bunch. Now, I put in more separators because there was an extra block in both this direction and this direction, so I just put a separator right in the middle of both of them, and that way our worms would be perfectly spaced. Like, we would have the exact amount of worms that we needed to fit the exact area. Without it, we'd have to do some weird worm mechanic stuff, and I wasn't interested in doing that. I mean, we got plenty of space, so taking out some of the farming plots really isn't going to matter too much. And like I said, we can always expand upwards if we have to as well. But over here, we have our first 2 tier 1 seeds. We have our stone seeds, which gives us, stone essence, and we have our dirt, which gives us dirt essence. And every now and then we get this special little guy that works on resource crops. Regular bone meal does not work. Now, I don't think... It says here that resource crops, that bone meal effects don't work. So the worms are not here to bone meal the crops. They're only here for the hydration of the plants. But it does look like the effects might be working on them. I don't really know. I mean, I couldn't tell you if they're growing faster or not. But it doesn't really matter too much. Whether they're working or not, we're getting them at a certain speed, and we're going to continue getting them at that speed, so it really doesn't matter all that much. The other bottleneck that we have is actually seeds. We're really not getting a whole lot of seeds very fast. Mind you, this is the only wheat plot we have. We could do the other ones. Like, I think I put potatoes here, beetroot in that corner, and carrots in that corner. So we could fill up more room in here. We could get more wheat and get some more seeds that way probably, but I think we're going to be okay. And the reason I say that is because we do have other things like the harvester. Now this guy right here, I'm not exactly sure what it does. Point this at your field of crops. It will gently harvest everything, replanting seeds as it goes. The harvested crops just land where they are, so you can use other means to collect them. Magnet, fan, redstone controlled, and the harvested can be changed. Yeah, so you can change exactly where it's harvesting, which is good. I don't think they give you exact dimensions, like you can't choose exactly how much it'll harvest. But for example, we could go here and get our wheat automatically harvested. If we go in here and get our harvester. Okay, I guess I gotta, and then I go in, and then we're gonna need, back. We're gonna need this guy first. Let's go here. That one's easier to do. And then we'll go like this. Bam, now we have the harvester. And I believe this guy will actually work without power as well. I don't think it needs power. We're going to go on this side. Like that. Oh, it does need power. I lied. But we don't need it that big. We just want it about this size right here. -1 probably. So it's at 9 by 9. So let's do, what, an 8 by 8? Oh, 7 by 7 maybe? That's what I meant. Is 7 by 7 enough? It is indeed enough. Okay, so 7 by 7 is what we want for this one particular plot. But we can just basically lay these guys out in general areas. And what I can do is I can have the harvester here. And if you remember, we have a sneaky little auto collector, item collector, rather, down here. Now, this guy right here, if we show this, it'll actually go up as well. It'll start collecting upwards, which means we can actually put our item collector directly below this block and have a sneaky little thing with some sneaky little item collection and do some pretty cool sneaky little stuff. And we're going to get everything we need. It's going to be pretty amazing, I think. So, I don't know. We're going to do some stuff with those. I think cyclic is likely going to be what we're going to use in order to automate this area. I think it's going to be the easiest thing to hide, the easiest thing to power, the easiest thing to move items from. And I think what we're going to do, if I can think of a place to put it, I'm not sure. We're going to, maybe we'll have like this area be stairs. Maybe this will go down and the other one will go down. Do we want a gigantic bunker? I don't think we need a big bunker. I think we just need a sneaky little bunker. Ooh, maybe we can do that. We'll put some stairs around the outside of this. Like we'll come down the stairs and we'll go right down into the wall here, I think. And we'll have basically... We'll like collect some of our stuff. We'll dig out a room and decorate it and everything. And we'll redirect all of our items using pipes or whatever means down into that room. So everything from this gigantic field, everything we put here is going to be harvested and then item collected and thrown into some kind of a place down here. I'm probably going to center this room because I'm nitpicky about that kind of thing. So it's actually going to end up being like right here-ish. But that's fine. We'll deal with that later. And yeah. And we're going to have to set these guys up as we go. But first, I would like to have maybe, if we can, a few central spots for power. So I don't have to make power cells for every single one of these things. I want to be able to put, like, I don't know, maybe we'll have each one of these corners be a power location. So then for every harvester, we'll bring power off of this one location, bring it out, and spread it out to each machine. All right, so we now have some progress, okay? There's a few things I want to show you. The first of which is what I've been working on now. The other things are just things I kind of forgot to show you about. Now, this guy right here is what we were working on originally. This one right here is now just getting wheat. This guy is one we've just put in, or I've just put in, and now this is going to get all of these guys. It's not going to get these. There's 2 more here. We need to get another farmer here and actually have this stuff come all the way down to here, but that's later. I mean, it's just 2 of them. It's not going to be that big of a deal. I'm probably going to hate saying that at some point. Like, if I just gotten those 2 every time, I'd have what I need by now. There's going to be a point in time where I say that to myself. But anyway, I've actually organized how this is going to work. You see, this is basically, this whole section is gotten with this guy. And yeah, we have a little bit of extras here, but if you think about it, once we have crops in here, this will also get these. And we're probably going to end up putting a couple of the stone brick borders here as well, just so we don't put anything here. Because if we put the farmer in this block, then it will not harvest these 3 blocks if we put something there. As you can see, the harvest area actually starts in front of it, and it does not include it. So just one of those things to consider. We'll have a lot of borders in here just to make sure we can actually know exactly what's harvested at any one point. This guy right here is 15 across, so we can have a harvester every 15 blocks or so all the way across here and get every single inch of this guy without any extras, in theory. And that's pretty cool. The corners can be gotten the same way that other wheat areas gotten as soon as we actually have a need for beetroot, carrots, or potatoes, which probably maybe might never happen, so I'm not too incredibly worried about it. I have these guys down here. These are the 4 corners that I was telling you about. And this is where we're going to draw power for each of the farmers from. And this is what's going on down below, which still needs to be decorated a little bit. It's just kind of a crude little stairway right now, just to kind of outline what functionality that's going to happen. But we still need to decorate everything. But up here, we have the actual functional side of things. This is that corner block that has the power. And the power is coming down and out, and it's going all the way down over to here. Okay, into that far one where the wheat is. And obviously you can see the item conduits are as well pulling the materials out of this thing and sending them all the way. And here's the other guy as well. This is the second farmer I was telling you about. Just so happens to be along the same line, which is really cool. Just kind of worked out that way. And they're all sending the materials down here into an ender chest. And of course I have my ender chest back at the base, just automatically dumping everything into the system. So completely automated. I'm just going to see resources start to show up in the system, and we're just going to be able to do things, which is really cool. Also, these stone brick lines here, these are going to be my pathways. This is where I'm going to run cable. It might be a little longer. We might use a little bit more cable when we do that, but at least we'll know exactly where our cables are, and we won't have to run anything underneath the actual farmland. I think that's a decent trade-off, a few extra cables, so we don't have to worry about where we're going to be digging in the future. If we know they're always underneath these stone brick paths, we're going to be just fine with any digging project, and it's just going to work out pretty well that way, I think. So we have one there and one there. And basically what's happening is taking from the chest, putting into the drying basin, and going into the oak chest. If we take a look at this, I actually have a filter here of leather. And what you can do with this drying basin is really, really cool, because of course we're getting huge amounts of rotten flesh. We had it well over 1,000. I put a crap ton in here. And what's going to happen is it's going to drop one leather at a time, very quickly actually, turn it into leather, and then it's going to get sucked out the bottom. And that's pretty much how I've gotten huge amounts of leather. And this is after using a crap ton to, you know, get a whole bunch of yogurt. Like, so much leather. It's ridiculous. I had like 8 or 9 stacks of it just by doing this from all the flesh. It's really cool. So that's how we're going to do that. And just to, you know, keep our flesh topped off, I have this guy. I told you a little while ago that we were moving our spawners because they're way too crowded. Now you're about to see why I say that. I mean, how can you have too many spawners to crowd a room? I mean, it wasn't even a small room, but holy crap, guys. So many spawners. It's ridiculous. Now I want to show you one other thing that's really, really cool. Are you ready for this? Check this out. Oh, I forgot the blaze. The blaze don't fall. Ow. I'm on fire. That didn't feel very good. Stop it! My goodness. Look at that. Holy crap. Oh my goodness. This is fantastic, guy. Oh, stupid Elder Guardians around here somewhere. Where'd he go? Okay, so here we are at the start of our mystical agriculture stuff, right? We did a bit of stuff today, and I'm going to be slowly adding crops here, just as we gain stuff. So it's just one of those things. It's just going to be doing some stuff. Things are going to be happening. But that is about all the time I have for the episode. So if you liked it, please do hit that like button and subscribe to see more. Thank you so much for watching. Do what you do, and I'll see you next time. I'm also going to take a look to see if we can do the infinite. I don't think we can. I have a feeling that's still going to suck this thing dry. But I might try. Might give it a shot, see what happens. Maybe I'll wait till we get to tier 2. Maybe we'll wait till then.